guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kathleen, and today's video I wanted to share with you guys my top 5 favorite dystopian series. So if you've been subscribed to my channel for a while, then you know how much I love the dystopia genre. It is by far one of my favorite genres to read. However, I realized today that I talk a lot about my love for dystopias, but I never actually shared with you guys which dystopia series I love the most. So I picked 5 book series, and they are numbered. Number 1 is my favorite dystopia series of all time. So let's go ahead and get started. So coming in at number 5 is the Divergent series by Veronica Roth, and this is coming in at number 5 mostly because I have not yet read final book Allegiant. I have read the first 2 and I absolutely adored this book. I flew through Divergent and I thought Insurgent was a great continuation. However, I was spoiled for Allegiant. I know what happens, I know how it ends, and that is one of the reasons why I've delayed reading the final book. But despite of how Allegiant ends, I still love this series so much, and I am planning on reading it very soon. The Divergent trilogy happens to be one of the very first dystopias I have ever read, and they kind of help fuel my love for dystopias. And coming in at number 4 is the Hunger Games trilogy by Suzanne Collins. I actually just recently read these books, and the reason why this is coming in at number 4 instead of higher on my list is because I saw the movies first, and this was the first time that it happened, but I felt like seeing the movies first definitely took away from the reading experience. This was the first time I ever regretted seeing the movies before. I loved the series. I felt like I didn't enjoy as much as I would have if I had read the books first and then saw the movies. So this is my number 4 dystopian series. And then coming in at number 3 is the Shatter Me trilogy by Tahereh Mafi, and this is a very popular trilogy here on BookTube. If you guys watch Whitney from Witty Novels, then you know all about this book series. This is her favorite book series of all time, and this is more of the dystopia mixed with sci-fi because the characters do have some supernatural abilities. But I absolutely loved this trilogy. It was just such a fun book series, and Tahereh Mafi, she has such a unique writing style in this series. The reason why this is coming in at number 3 instead of higher is because I found the main character a little bit annoying at times, but I definitely enjoyed this series. This is basically about a girl named Juliet. She considers her ability a curse in which she cannot touch people. When people touch her, she ends up hurting them. So she is thrown in prison where she is far away from society and is unable to hurt anybody. But then one day the government releases her and they want to use her to interrogate prisoners of war, and this is where the story starts. I loved every single book. It was just freaking amazing, and the 3rd book was by far my favorite. And then coming in at number 2 is the Unwind dystology by Neil Shusterman. It is a 4-book series. There is Unwind, and then you have Unholy, and then you have Unsold and Undivided. And this series is probably one of the most disturbing book series I have ever read. So Unwind is set in a world after the Heartland War, and the Heartland War was a war between the pro-lifers and the pro-choicers about abortion. And so they come to an agreement after a scientific advancement is created, and it is called the unwinding process. And basically the unwinding process takes a human body, and you are able to harvest 99% of the human being's body, from their hair to their eyes to their skin to all of their organs. What the agreement was is that children up to the age of 13 are untouchable, so you are not allowed to abort a baby. And then once that child hits the age of 13, anywhere between 13 and 18, you, being the adult over that child, you have the legal right to sign them over to the government to be harvested. The child child has absolutely no choice. This causes organs to not be in shortage anymore. However, people are now buying unwound children's parts in order to look different. So this story follows 3 teenagers who were signed over to be unwound, and this story was so freaking disturbing. It was also so freaking good. It was nothing I have ever read before in my life, and one of the things that I really liked about this book is that even though in our world unwinding would never happen, in this world it's such a normal thing. Unwinding has become such a normal part of the world that people don't realize just how evil it has become. I would highly recommend if you guys are looking for a good dystopian dystopia world. And coming in at number 1, this is by far my favorite dystopia series of all time, and it was definitely a series that took me by surprise because I did not expect to love it as much as I did. And this series is the Reboot duology by Amy Tintera, and we have the Reboot and the Rebel. Basically, in this world, it takes a little spin on zombies. They are trying to come up with the answer to immortality. They want people to live longer, and they created this medical advancement that turned out to be very bad. It turned into a virus, and a lot of people were infected, especially in the poor areas. So what ended up happening, this virus kills you. However, you don't actually stay dead. Within a few minutes or even a few hours, you reboot. Basically, when you reboot, depending on how long you've been dead, the less human you are. Our main character, Ren, was dead for 178 minutes. So she was dead for nearly 3 hours, and that is the longest that a reboot was dead before they rose again. Also, the longer that you are dead, the faster, stronger, more agile you are. So she is the government's top agent. Her job in the government is to train other Reboot, and one of her recruits is a guy named Caleb who was dead for 22 minutes. So he is still very much human. I absolutely loved this series. It was so action-packed. I just had so much fun reading this book. I loved Ren and Caleb, their chemistry, their dynamic. I loved the world that Amy Tintera created. I definitely consider this my top favorite dystopia of just how much I enjoyed reading. Alright guys, so there are my top 5 favorite dystopia series of all time. These are just a book series that have stood out among all of the other dystopias that I have read. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you did, and subscribe to my channel if you are not already. Also, please follow me on all of my social medias. I would love to become friends with all of you guys. They're all linked down below. I hope to see you guys on my next video. Have a good day guys, and keep reading. Bye.